December reading. As promised, we're doing our light. I was hoping I could do it yesterday, but that just didn't happen. Okay, so similar to the other signs, if you have actually cross-watched, I have actually done an overview of, you know, how far you've traveled and what's been going on. Now, you guys have had some massive growth. You've actually done a great deal of purging. Ooh. And being angry about some things that you haven't released yet. There's an aspect of a block going on. I'm going to pick the cards up. Okay, I can see like a family dynamic going on that has been ongoing. Hello. Okay, so there's some sort of a family dynamic that's been going on, and it might be, in your opinion, water under the bridge, and you're sort of keeping it to the point where, you know, you're keeping life going, so to speak. But obviously, seeing as we are heading towards the end of the year, these dynamics can come up. And that can be due to communication. Hello, everyone. It can be due to, you know, gatherings and Christmas and scenarios similar to that. Now, for some of you, I do see a push and pull connected to a location, and it's almost like a tug of war going on. Now, this is either going to happen or has happened already, and it's come into light, and it's making you feel very uncomfortable. You do tend to not like the agitation, and, you know, you're not really wanting to have to verbalize it, and you think it should be well known, your feelings connected to the subject. And it's almost like you have to be joking. Why are you even trying to say this to me right now? It feels like, that's the only way I can describe it. It's almost like cuss words coming to mind of, I can't believe you guys are even tripping to believe that we're going down memory lane connected to this at the moment. This is coming up for a reason, and I'll explain the reasons why. Now, 2016, we had absolutely no forward motion in many areas of our life. 2017, as I said in the other zodiac signs, was a #1 year, so it was all about rebuilding the foundations of what we vibrationally felt was correct for who we are today. A lot of who we were was relevant many years ago, but we didn't honour it enough to actually stick up for ourselves. Now, for those of you who are Scorpions, you know that you don't have a problem with that. I have Scorpio in my Venus house. So in the romantic sector, for me, I have no problem sticking up for myself. It's poor partners, whoever they be. Anyway, regardless of that, there were aspects and elements connected to people you would tolerate certain situations like that going on, where that is no longer a workable situation for you. So that's the reason it's coming up into trigger, is because you're being tested to the point where you have learned aspects of a lesson, and whether you are ready to own that power and say, I don't wish to go over old ground. This no longer is good enough for me. So when it does come up, you know, deal with the energy. It's another aspect of purging and growth, and you're going to find you'll step into your power, and these people will not try to play this game again. So this could be friends, it can be family members, it can be soul family. It depends on who is around you causing this trigger. But it may remind you of a scenario and a time frame of previous years gone by. And it is there for a reason. I'm reading your comments. Okay, so you are reserving your power. You're assessing a situation at the moment. And through that assessment, you're treading very carefully. I also see your work in some shape or form connecting, but not really connecting. Now, when I meditated on the other zodiac signs, I have noticed in the last 3 months, like I said before, there is a change happening, and that is that some of us are doing the work and we're not sweeping aspects of it under the carpet. And it's not that we're weak if we actually sweep something under the carpet. It might be that it's a very old, heavy energy that we're physically not ready to actually deal with that aspect of what's going on. So if we are going through that, the downside of that is the following month, the new energies that come in where we're challenged to actually directly deal with, we then have the previous month's energy to still, still track through and still work through. So there were house-related dynamics a few months ago, as well as communication. And that comes up as being quite an issue at the moment. Now, it may be that the people that you're directly wanting to communicate with are not around, or that you have some things to say to them, but the time has not actually been provided to you for those scenarios to come through. And you're sort of waiting for the correct time. It's not that you're trying to cupcake the situation or make it a perfect dynamic. It simply feels the time has not come yet for some of you. That's not all of you. For others of you, what you'll be dealing with is really kind of looking over the last year of where you've come, almost feeling emotionally exhausted and thinking, gosh, I can't believe, have I changed that much? That's what I hear you asking yourself. I do feel you have changed quite a bit, but you're not giving yourself enough credit. But environmentally, for some of you, I do feel your workplace isn't working for you, and it might be because you may have been working on different areas in your life that you were trying to focus on more so than work. Because for many of us in this year, depending on what the signs are in your chart, aspects of home, aspects of house, aspects of friendships came up. Almost your whole life was under review, being a number 1 year, to the point that you were rejigging it so it was completely correct for you. Yes, I did notice that the video did cut in and out. I can't really do much about that. So what I'm feeling is you need to really have a good look over where you feel you've made strides. In the number 2 year, it bodes very well for cementing relationships. For some of you, I do feel there's a trigger point with the person who is romantically involved for you. Now, this won't be for all of you, but it does feel like a heavy energy coming through. Now, this person, either it did get off the ground or it didn't, but it feels like, okay, 2 energies coming through now. So it's 2 people. Now, this could be 2 people you're currently thinking about, or 2 romantic partners, a left or right situation. It could be that the partner you're considering is actually with somebody and you're concerned of that aspect as well. So it depends on how it directly fits. But I am feeling as though there is aspects of a person that you have been focusing on and trying to work out, where to go from here. How are we going from here? I do feel at times you're very focused on your life, and it's almost like nothing else, is going to bother you. You're very grounded and very centered. And then other times it's almost like you're saying, gosh, what's coming now? Am I ever going to get a break? Is this situation going to get better? And it does feel there is 2 main areas in your life you have been working on very hard. Definitely emotionally and spiritually speaking, this has been a very challenging year for you. But I do feel that next year the environment is going to be very different. Deep emotions connected to the way people have treated you. Especially with the lack of respect, I do feel some friendships or sometimes family members really not seeing eye to eye. And when they've gone by the wayside, words have not been finalised. That's what I'm seeing. And you're really frustrated that that situation has not resolved. Now, I do feel a loved one who is around you that passed over. And it's like sometimes you're saying, I really just wish they were here. It would have been so much easier. They made life feel simple. And when they're not there, you're feeling, like, how can you even face this? Now, the universe is wanting you to know you physically can. They, in a sense, have given you the words, the wisdom, the support while they were here. And they are doing that from the other side. But they want you to not shortchange yourself, because too often you place other people on a pedestal and you haven't seen that you were the king or queen. So they're wanting you to not forget who you actually are, because somehow you're sort of feeling as though, you're not you're not worthy or you don't have that power, and you actually do. So the universe is challenging you to take that power back and deal with the situations accordingly so you can have that healing and that forward motion. It feels like a very emotional energy. Okay, you're not paying attention to your dreams. I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah. Okay, so your dreams are, if it might be that you used to see this person or these people, it could be these people, because there is another energy coming through. It's an older person though, this one. That you were seeing them in your dreams and suddenly you're not. It's because you're actually focusing on other areas. When you are very tired, you may find they are visiting you and leading you and guiding you, but you're just not physically remembering it because you're too fatigued. I do feel that the key to the situation is actually paying attention to your dreams, but also they're asking you to remember your dreams because you're putting something of your life on hold and you're trying to fit yourself into a box you don't fit. Please don't place yourself in the corner. You're very relevant and you're very important, and you're able to dream those big dreams. Don't ever feel that you need to fit into a lifestyle or a life in order to be accepted in a given situation, because that's not correct. And I think generally you know this, but somebody has challenged you to think that that's all you could be. And it might be that you're constantly getting these badgering comments all the time from people. And again, this could be friends or family or co-workers, or society, for instance, that, you know, it's almost like before it's happened, you're accepting that that's so, and that's not so. That's what I'm hearing. You've got a lot of purple in your chakra cards at the moment. So I do feel you're going through a massive amount of purging, massive amount of healing. It feels very emotional, heavy energy. You know, try and get an amethyst. Try and detoxify and cleanse yourself in a sense of, you know, finding a quiet space. You don't need to remove yourself and go into hermit mode, because that sometimes can be not healthy as well, especially at this time of the year. Don't feel that somehow the negativity can absorb into you. It's if you allow it to absorb into you. There are techniques you can prevent that by wearing, you know, protective stones and white lighting yourself, as well as taking the power back and actually knowing that even those words cannot hurt you if you accept in your mind that they're actually not relevant and real. Yeah, we got to come out of hermit mode at some point, because that's definitely what your loved one who's passed over is saying. It's like, you know, you've got a big life to live. You know, you've got massive amounts of purple. That you're not letting them into your dreams. You're also not following your dreams due to this, and they're actually cross. Your insight is being blocked due to this, but it's going to open up through this process. You need to trust in it. You're not seeing things because, you know, your third eye's out, and, you know, by being in hermit mode is an aspect of the healing, but, you know, to actually try and move on in some shape or form with healing is definitely an essential part of the healing process. Okay, I'll pull another card and then we will get on to your general reading. Okay, yes, you need to ground yourself. So don't let them take your self-esteem away, because it's perfect. It's perfectly intact. Just feel like you got the flu, for instance, and that it's not real and it's going to go away. And it's never that simple. But take their power away. That'll be right. And, you know, try and slowly regain that power. Don't let them have that. That's not theirs to have. And if they're toxic, remove them from your life. Okay, money. What's going on with your money? Okay, I feel for some of you, you haven't been as impressed with the cash component this year. This month you are being cautious. I do see some amounts coming through to you in a sense that you will have all you need. You may have even put some away for a rainy day, and I'm not feeling massive amounts, but I feel You're a little bit more resilient when it comes to the cash component at the moment, I'm feeling. But next year bodes very well financially, because it's all about forward movement, financial gain. It's boding very well for any aspect, really. Your relationships, contracts, family. Okay. There's some aspects of family you're not wanting to mix with, and this may not be all of them, but there definitely feels like there is a particular pocket. Now, again, I am feeling it is connected to some words or some attitudes that don't kind of mesh with the way you are. And you're a bit concerned that given the right kind of environment, you may actually tell these people exactly how you feel. So I also feel that connected to, this might be for those of you who are partnered or you come from a split family, it feels like a tug of war connected to where you're supposed to be. You actually already know where you want to be, so just own that and do what you're wanting to do. Otherwise, you're going to feel environmentally, unsettled. I do feel for a lot of people that they're going to try and make some space around those jolly seasons. And look, as I said in the previous videos, not all of us actually meet or celebrate these seasons. So those of you who do, I am being shown that a lot of us will actually want to remove ourselves in some shape or form. And it's because we're realigning ourselves correctly or suddenly mixing with people we hadn't seen in a very long time. Again, it could be soul families, or it could directly be people that we haven't really been speaking with. Anything that comes up is there for a reason. So directly deal with the energies of the people. And if those words have to be said, speak your truth, but speak with integrity. Now, what am I feeling for your general life? You have massive plans for next year. I do see some of you actually wanting to travel. I do see some plans that you were going to travel this year, but for some of you that was put on hold. The funny thing is, I actually feel more travel next year than what you had actually planned this year. Now, it's like you may have planned a trip, and for some reason, it may have ended up being a short one, but it just feels like there is several trips next year, and you will not even believe how they come about. Some of them, it may be work related. Some of it very much out of left field. It does feel completely overseas though for many of you. But it was something that was, one of the trips was definitely something that you had planned, and it just never got off the ground for some reason. Okay, in your money life, in some shape or form, sometimes you feel there's nothing much to be grateful for apart from the fact that you're still going. But all the work you've done last year and this year, definitely you're going to start reaping the rewards, and it feels from January onwards there's great forward movement. I do feel for some of you there may be new contracts coming towards you. There might be new positions offered. So if you're working in a field and you've really been putting in the groundwork, I feel it's really going to bounce forward from January through to May. So because of the efforts you've put into certain situations, some of you might even be questioning whether that position is relevant for you. Some of you also might be kind of training in an area, and you may, you're getting a gut instinct connected to it, and you're thinking sometimes it's 100%. It's more the 3D of what it equates. Other times you spiritually or emotionally get to a point you're thinking, I really don't know why I'm investing in that, because it's like a gut feeling. You're physically getting a gut feeling that it's not going to get off the ground. So go with your gut connected to it, because I feel you'll end up maybe even starting it, but definitely traveling in a different direction. And it's definitely going to be something else that you're much, much more going to enjoy and reap benefits out of. Have patience connected to the finances, because it's right there. You put the groundwork in and it's so very close. For those of you who have had way too much patience, have patience, and in the new year, move forward in a new direction if that's what you're guided to do. And you will have the courage directly connected to actually control the aspects of cash, as well as move towards a direction in your life that is going to generate more income. You're also going to have a lot more clarity by the end of the month connected to this. So it might be due to you actually processing the year that you're actually looking at and saying, I've definitely got to do something different next year because it's just not working. In your family, okay. Sometimes you feel there's certain aspects of it which you're not impressed by. It's not kind of vibrating correctly with you, as well as there may also be a person who's currently not with you, so Christmas or New Year's may feel different. I can also see for some of you there is a birthday around that time, and it's feeling like it is quite, it's in your mind. You're trying to move on, in a sense of moving forward, but an aspect of you, this comes up as a trigger. It doesn't feel at the time when it comes up you're weeping. It more feels it's like a light bulb moment connected to something that somebody does or something someone says, and it might be a song you hear on the radio and it reminds you of this person. It's confirming that they're with you, and I feel you have a great peace inside you around this time, almost of gratefulness connected to it. You are also feeling in your family, maybe it might be for some of you, you were hoping for children or something to that degree. It feels directly connected to family in some shape or form. You're thinking some of your prayers weren't answered. It's not that they're not going to be. It's that there is a pause on that, and have a little bit of patience connected to it. And I know you definitely have had a lot of patience connected to this, but there's a reason why there has been delays or blocks connected to this scenario. You will see the bigger picture soon. Okay, family is going to be quieter than you anticipated though. And that's the ironic thing. So even if you're vibrationally feeling, gosh, I don't want that dynamic, there are things coming up where it's not going to be the way you think. And let go of the small things that, the petty things and the trivial things, because those are the things when a person goes that you ultimately remember. So that might come up in a comical sense that, of a trigger where you're remembering perhaps a person that had passed over, what their comical traits were and things they used to do, and it amuses you at that given point in time. But I do feel, it's not going to bother you, some aspects of this, because you have evolved. And there will be more flowing when it comes to your family and things moving forward, and your big plans that you actually are making in this month. I do feel most of you by the third week, you're very much looking at life, and there might be information coming through directly connected to some things that are going to happen next year. Okay, some sense of you're being a bit too hard on yourself in your general life connected to certain things you've done. You're thinking in some shape or form that you were foolish, but you go back and forward with it. You're thinking too much on it. It might be an aspect you just need to completely let go of, and when the clarity is needing to come, it's actually going to come to you. But by going over it a bit too much, it's just not, there's no clarity at this point in time, so it's pointless doing that. Okay, you're in some shape or form feeling, because you've got this card in reverse, that you don't have everything you need to actually have that forward motion. So again, it can be that in your general life, it may be that you have car-related dramas, or it might be that you have people not working with you and clashing with you, or emotionally speaking, you haven't done the healing, so you're not directly ready to do certain aspects. Or that, sometimes you get to that door where you're ready to move forward and suddenly there's just no forward movement and you don't know why. It's like the tools have been removed from you. They're not saying no, it's saying your aspect this year has been emotional healing. So forward motion on the 3D was not completely apparent, but internally the foundations of life have been rebuilt. So sometimes, although our exterior structure can be the tower, where we're rebuilding our life, internally, spiritually, very much is our tower event as well, where emotionally something came down And we had to internally heal in order to get back up again. Okay, from some situations, you're not freeing yourself, and it can be from this hurt. And I do feel, especially this month, because we are going into 2018, I did very much say in the last videos that the last 2 to 3 months of the year, we're going to be very heavy, very pushy energy. It's because we're supposed to be moving through these blocks, so we have that clean slate, and then we're able to move forward and have that new start. But they really don't want us to be doing that without doing that work. Otherwise, it'll creep into January, February, March, and we don't want to have a repeat of what we had in the last 2 years. Okay, there is going to be something that goes out with a big bang for you guys in your general life. And that's why I was saying, you know, by the 3rd week, I'm feeling some information is going to come through. It feels positive energy. It doesn't feel like an argument. It feels like an aha moment, a decision, or some information coming towards you. This also could be a job opportunity, which I'm actually feeling. Okay, we will get on to couples once I collect the cards. See, this is joy of doing life. You've got to watch me clean up. Did I say couples? I did say couples. Well, we'll do couples first then. I usually do singles first, but we'll do couples first. Couples, what's going on with you guys? And if I'm talking quiet, it's because I've smudged this house so heavily that I'm almost choking on it. Couples. Okay, some of you feel you have everything you wanted, and you're going left and right in your mind, and you're wondering why you're even going left and right in your mind. Yes, I will be doing Capricorn next. Okay, but I will have to pop out, then come back and do Capricorn. Okay, so some of you are very much going left and right, connected to something. Now, it's something that happened over this year or the year before. And the strange thing is you're bouncing back and forward and you're thinking about it. Yet on the 3D, you're looking at it and going, everything's fine, so what's the problem? It's not the 3D, it's inside. Something's changed in you. And you're wondering how to get back to the way it was, how to get back to the way you were. Okay, P.S. You can't get back to the way you were. You've changed. It's not anything else. It's not the people around you. It's you've changed, and you're just now acknowledging that factor. And it's a very uncomfortable energy that you're actually going through. At times, you know, your partner's not knowing what's going on with you. They're not understanding. Sometimes, you know, you're feeling you're back in that 3D to being who you used to be, and then it's bouncing back where you feel like you're not that person again, and it's very much confusing you. You are going over old ground connected to something that has happened, and although you're feeling you have moved beyond it, some shape or form it changed your life for the rest of your life, and maybe you can't get back to the way it was before. That's not to say that it's not perfect in the way it is right now, because it is new, but you need to come to that realization of acceptance of that situation to move forward with it in the new. Okay, a few more times. Hi. Partner's energy. Okay, so at the moment, your energy is you feel, you know, sometimes you're able to do this. You've done the work, and, you know, you've got everything within this relationship that you physically need. Sometimes your partner is completely feeling that they're overwhelmed in the situation. But between you, there is still growth and movement within the relationship. So it is still deepening, but it's changed. So it's never going to be the way it was before. But that's not to say it can't be better. But it's like you're completely new people now. You do go over all ground and feel that what you have is going to be taken from you, and it does worry you, but it's connected to your general life energies. It can be directly connected to something that's transpired between the two of you, but emotionally speaking, healing has come, but sometimes you are having trigger points come up. Now, they're not there to punish you or say that this is happening. It's more connected to your vibration of what you're feeling and how you can heal in that area so you can trust in the given situation to move forward. Okay, what happened did give your partner a wake-up call. So, you know, don't feel, and look, maybe both of you emotionally speaking, you know, we're at a crossroad in life and very much evolving, and then suddenly, you know, you had a scenario happen or a lifetime of situations happen where it was coming and going, and, you know, whatever it is, however this directly relates to you, I feel they've learned. I feel they've grown as well, but so have you. But you need the courage to then, sometimes we kind of swap energies. And, you know, you don't have to be a twin flame to do this energy. Directly speaking, males and females are in this energetic field at the moment. So, you know, very much traditionally speaking, we can all take the energies of the female or the male. There is success again through this, even though you're feeling it's going to be taken from you. So your partner has learned, and they're going to show you, and you know, you're still fretful of it, but ultimately speaking, if you put the work in together, their understanding of the reason why you're emotionally feeling that way, it's going to bode very well. Okay, maybe you did feel that this was a complete attack on you, what happened, or that you were really duped, and it just doesn't feel like a nice energy. So you've got that aspect of a wall coming back up, and it's hurting you, but you're trying not to dig to the root of it. You're trying not to, but something of an aspect of a trigger point is coming up for you, and it might be an anniversary connected to something. Okay, don't overdo it. Don't think too much up in your head about this, Scorpio, because it's going to poison your mind. It's not, you know, it happened, it's gone, you're growing. This pain that's coming up is not coming up unnaturally for no given reason. It's actually there to help you move forward. But some of it you actually directly don't want to deal with. It's like you're feeling, no, you know, has this changed? Is it okay? There's reasons it's happening. You just need to trust the process. I'll pull some chakra, some love cards for you. Okay. Now, your partner is changing the way they're directly dealing with you due to this situation. So funny. Okay, so they're trying to change their way of dealing with you because you're putting them up in their head, but, you know, they have changed. You need to understand that. They're stepping back in some shape or form and working with you with your energy. They're working very hard, and they know that the efforts they put in is what they're going to get out of the situation. And they also know that whatever they have done, be it communication or, you know, not doing the right thing by you, I won't tap into it because to me that's your private bubble. This is about healing this aspect. This is not about calling it what it is. You know what happened. Whatever has happened between you, the aspect is they're physically wanting to put the work in, and they know that they're willing to invest in you, and they have invested in you. So you need to have patience in this given situation, but they're working with you because they know that they need to help you through this emotion. They are getting frustrated at times and hoping that you're going to move beyond this situation. But you know this person's your soulmate. You know, some of you it will be a twin flame. Some of you it will be, it's just this very, very deep connection. So even though you're in pain, you actually already do know what it is. So you've got to ask yourself, why are you sabotaging yourself? Work with it, you know, put an X on it of what it actually is. It's a trigger point, you're working with it, and just keep going, but don't get caught up in that energy. You have great chemistry connected to this person. Fantastic chemistry, but you're not forgiving. You got this card in reverse. You need to forgive the past. The lack of forgiveness connected to it can be from a separate scenario that has happened a while ago, Go with the reasons why this is coming up in a trigger point, and that will release you. So it might be that you need to dig further and further back in order to see why. And also look at it from this point of view. If you're putting a wall up to prevent hurt, you're also preventing love. You're preventing your soulmate. So, you know, you will actually, how do you put it? Don't sabotage what is already yours. It's already there to have. The aspect of the past is painful, but the past is gone. So moving forward will give you exactly what you want, which is directly in front of you. And yes, it is challenging, but also it can be very it can personally grow the relationship to the next level, because to trust is to believe in the possibility of it working. Okay, so again, they feel they have chemistry with you, but it might be that they're trying to control the scenario so that you don't kind of pivot out of control. And that now they're removing their feelings because they feel that, you know, they're waiting and waiting and they don't know why you're doing this. So, you know, I'll pull some chakra cards to give you a heads up of how to handle this situation. Otherwise, you are most welcome to book a private reading. Over Christmas, there will be obviously openings and New Year. But if there is a time frame that is not up, just go directly to the website and you can email me and I'll try and book you in from my side. Okay. You can see there is a change, okay? So it might be that you need to get an amethyst to cleanse you, and also try and listen to some meditation, you know, music to actually ground you, to get some perspective. I do see some of you actually having to go for a drive or going somewhere to gain perspective, or having some one-on-one time with them to gain the clarity. But visually see your best possible outcome for that to manifest. Don't keep focusing on the negative. Now, ultimately speaking, you both have a choice to work at it or a choice to walk away. You need to choose the right one for the given situation of what you feel is right. And this is going to help you see, because your third eye is going to open and you will know. Okay, I'm actually hearing that you are angry at yourself, that you feel that you felt that if you knew, this would not have happened. But we cannot control other people. Sometimes trigger points come up from us emotionally speaking, whereby both of us may become, you know, ungrounded or disconnected emotionally speaking due to environmental situations which can cause this. But ultimately speaking, don't ever just take the onus directly on yourself. That's the past. And don't feel that your intuition would not guide you correctly at this given point in time, because it will, because you have tuned into that. So please just move forward with it, because you're somehow feeling or taking on the blame and then using a wall to kind of protect yourself. So I will shuffle the cards and we will get on to singles. Any questions, couples, while I'm at it? This is the favourite part. Waiting for questions. Any questions for the couples? You're too scared to ask. Always be hopeful. You always know when a person is your twin flame. Look, some aspects, never go off what another person says. Never go off what society says. Directly speaking, a twin flame is a very, very deep connection where in that moment you have met them, or the way in which you are directly dealing with them, time stops. and you know to the very core that they are your one. And it's not a perfect situation. They are not perfect people. You are not perfect people. You just directly know in that moment that there is a soul connection with the person. Yeah, so look, many times they say there can be massive age differences. I know directly there is not with mine. Many times they can say that the birth dates match. Not always. There are you will see synchronicities directly connected to scenarios like that. And look, all of us will have challenges in relationships regardless. But there is a different style challenge to a twin flame connection. So that can be a sign too. Yeah. And I hope you can hear me. Okay, singles. What's going on with you guys? Okay, you have some good news coming through, but I do think it's actually from afar. I feel as though you have somebody coming. It could be from overseas, it could be from interstate, it could be direct news coming from this. You're going to have to keep the balance this month in order to have all these errands run. I'm feeling you're going to get a lot of invitations. And I can sort of see you thinking, I'm enjoying it, and then suddenly it becomes a little bit overwhelming. I feel before you even start some of these get-togethers, you're going to feel well and truly exhausted, and you're really going to have to pace yourself. I do feel you're going to have to get some rest beforehand. Some of you, it's people and family members sending you on unnecessary errands. And it can be some very late nights, so try and keep the balance. But it feels like you're able to multitask. This can be at work as well with you. I do feel as though you're going to want to retreat, but you're going to get spoiled. So again, I'm not feeling an energy around you right yet, but I'll tune into it and I'll see what's coming through. Emotionally speaking, I can actually feel somebody who is around but may not directly be connected to you completely at a romantic level. Now, how this is going to fit is you have very much been working very hard on life, and you have been waiting and waiting, and it's been very, very frustrating. You know, when you look at everything, you have great friends, you have people that you like mixing with, you have a routine, so to speak, you've got goals that you've made, but there feels like there's some aspect of something missing. Something's missing. You know, in life, you're feeling not all the time does everything look peachy, but, you know, on the exterior, people are looking at you and thinking you have everything together. And, you know, when it comes to balance, you know, sometimes you don't want to celebrate. Sometimes you do, but sometimes you feel emotionally speaking there's not that much to celebrate about because you've been doing the groundwork emotionally speaking. I do feel there is a person directly connected to you that you feel you want to be with. But you don't, sometimes you question how they feel about you. Sometimes you get up in your head a little bit too much. I do feel for some of you, you have had communication, and it might have been most recently. Now, this could be in any shape or form. It could be, you know, verbal communication, or it could have been email. It may have even been a telephone call or a direct meeting with this person. Now, if you haven't, it can be that it's entering into your dreams and it's frustrating you that this hasn't eventuated yet. But I'm feeling as though there is going to be a connection in this month. Okay, but you're frustrated that things aren't moving forward as quickly as you would like. You're even questioning your intuition connected to this romantic love. Sometimes you're going back over memories and you're thinking, very clearly as to what you vibrationally feel was true, and then you go back over them on another day, and it's almost like you're telling yourself that everything you thought you were completely imagining. In moments like that, you very much need to remove yourself from the situation just temporarily, because you're becoming ungrounded, connected to the information. Always go off the most calm vibration, and sort of know what you're doing at the given point in time, that when you're going over that old energy, are you sternly telling yourself that you're a fool, you know, to punish yourself? Is this something that a parent figure would do? You know, you're not needing to do that. The reality of what happened is the reality. So try not to go back over it and psychoanalyze it and shred it to pieces, because that's ruining the memory and the whole vibration you directly have with that person. Some trigger points can come up directly connected to, you might start getting vibrations of this person, and it might be you're thinking about them at some point in time, and suddenly you're thinking, you know, you're very panicked, or then you can't feel their energy at all. Very similar to twin flames. You know, you tap into the things you're feeling in your gut instincts, because this is actually guiding you correctly. Things are going to stop being so difficult, and I do feel that there is movement by the 3rd week again. And something very big is going to happen to change your life. But I do feel you intuitively know that the way life is going to be isn't the way that everyone else thinks it's going to be. And when I'm saying that, it's like you have an instinct connected to how it's going to play out, how the conversations will be. Sometimes it can be where we live. It's like, you know, for some people, they'll say, right, I'm going to grow up, have children, white picket fence, all the rest of it. You already know how the story's going to go. So I feel you have the information and the connection with this person, that you know how to deal with the energy. I do feel they may be actually working away. And it doesn't have to be a he, it can be a she. It feels like as though they're actually working away, or they're not close by. Okay, some information coming from them may be very challenging, and it might be the way they communicate with you is quite challenging at times, and it makes it difficult. They do work well with you, but at the moment they're becoming challenging. It's due to the feelings they're currently having. Also, something in their life is not turning out as great as they would have liked it. I'll pull some more cards for them. Let's get a bit of a story on what's going on with them. Would we like to know? Yes, I will pull an animal totem card. Okay, at the moment they're working very hard, but emotionally speaking, they're actually thinking back on the connection with you. They know they're not trapped in a situation, so they're trying to work on work to work out how to get out, if that makes sense. So this can be from a dynamic, from a lifestyle, from a location. It just feels they're trying to work out how to get to you and how to sort the situation. They're really using their intuitive skills. They are deeply connected with you at a spiritual level, and maybe even a psychic level. They are wanting to offer you love, but they're holding themselves away, but it's actually affecting them. They feel they've known you in a previous life. Yeah, again, you're going to hear something. It can be that they have actually flown somewhere, but vibrationally I'm feeling as though you are going to hear something from them. Don't be paranoid if you're walking through the house and you physically hear their voice. Sometimes that can happen, depending on the deepening of the connection. Okay, this sort of feels for me that they're going through a spiritual awakening. They do know that what they're doing at the moment, some of what they're doing has been empty. And the only reason I'm saying that is because they've used it as a tool or an addiction to totally avoid the energies of what they're physically feeling. So they're going to hear something, and this could be about you or you directly hear them. They're also tricking themselves and kidding themselves connected to this situation. But they are deeply, deeply passionate about you. And some of their issues are going to very much boil up to the point where it's really impacting them. You do feel they very much do go hot and cold. But this is because they're processing, okay? Hot to cold. And it can be they are somewhere opposite to where you currently are right now. But this distance is the medicine. So when you physically don't see them for a while and then you do, that's the healing in the situation. So it's actually the tool to bind both of you together. Yeah, again, it's grounding the situation, but it can be that a loved one on the other side is assisting them, I'm feeling. But I do feel it's what's actually grounding the both of you for it to be a more solid foundation. Pick some romance. Okay. You're not keeping an open mind. And sometimes it's hard to keep an open mind when relevant information isn't there. Take it as the relevant information is not there and just take it at face value. But both of you are making the effort and they're making the effort as well. It's just you're maybe not all the time seeing it on the 3D. And you're not keeping an open mind because you've got this in reverse. But I feel that's not a bad thing. It's more to do with the fact that you don't have the clarity directly connected to this. So it's making you get up in your head. And again, you're getting up in your head because you're deceiving yourself. You're reading too much into this. You're reading too much into the process. When blocks are there, it's not no, it's you're too fast. You're too fast. You've evolved too quickly. I'll pull 3 more cards. I do feel in their life they either have or had a person that was quite toxic. Now, initially they may not have been toxic, but they have become toxic. They needed this situation to actually appreciate their power, I'm hearing. It's not so much to appreciate you, that never changed. It was more to appreciate their power and actually retrieve it so they could have that forward motion. Okay, now I'll pick that as energy between you, your energy, their energy. Okay, you're not seeing the situation clearly, right? Because it's in reverse. So you're not trusting in your intuition because there's aspects you physically can't see and you don't know that's happening behind the scenes. Also, a decision cannot be made because there has not been an option yet provided to you. And if it has, maybe you're feeling it's not the option you're willing to take as yet. Okay, and again, you can't get ready for big changes because, you know, it hasn't evolved yet. I feel movement has happened, but it's like baking bread, putting yeast in it, and then just chucking it in the oven. I mean, sometimes that does work. Yes, it does. I do make bread, so I should know this. But, okay, making bread, not putting yeast in it, and putting it in the fridge and eating it and putting it in the toaster. It's like, it's not ready yet. I hope that makes sense. Okay, you need to listen because there is some information coming towards you. So listen carefully. I do feel some gossip's going to come through or something that actually, yeah, pretty much toasted dough. Half-baked, yeah. Anyway, I've got to stop thinking about that because that's the most awfulest metaphor I've ever made in my life. But anyway, we shall move along. Okay, something is actually going to come through to you, you know, through the grapevine. I should write a book. Yeah, I should really. You're going to have to be flexible because the information that's coming to you is going to come at left field. So you're going to think your life story is going to be one way. It's going to be completely different. So be open to that, you know, be playful with that as well, especially having the monkey on the card. You're really going to need to be playful with that energy because I think they do throw something at you at left field and you're thinking, well, number one, I didn't even know this was going to be on the plate. Number two, I didn't even know this was coming. And now you want me to do what? Okay. They physically know right now where they are, they're safe. And it may be because they actually are away. So they're acting that they're okay and they've got it all together and they're processing, that's why they're safe. But they're doing it at a safe level from a distance. But they are strong. Don't ever underestimate them. They are strong. They're emotionally healing and processing and working on what they're going to do. They're also letting go of control issues or perhaps letting go of a person who directly is controlling them. And going with the flow so that this can have the best outcome because I think they already do know what they want. It's never been that they have not wanted that they did not know who they wanted. It more feels that they're processing on how to remove themselves with integrity and respect, but also some things that are coming up in a trigger point for them. It's making it very hard for that to remain, but I don't feel that they're not going to act with integrity. I do feel they will. And my battery back again. Yes, I can't leave you on that cliffhanger like that. Yes, I do feel contact's going to be made. My battery was dying. I just feel they're sort of going through that kind of process of elimination. So I will leave you with that. Write your questions down below and I'll tune into it and I will answer any of your questions when I physically can. I've got 2 more videos to do. Have a great year. The end of it anyway. Stay safe at Christmas. If you want a booking, you can go to the link. There's also the shop directly connected. For those of you who have followed me for a year, I love you to bits and thank you, my clientele. I love you. You're my little family. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.